Hey, all you gossiping ghouls and goblins. Welcome back to the Mausoleum, where we spill the tea on true crime and other miscellaneous macabre. I'm Autumn,
And I'm Haley.
and this is Don't You Know? This is a trigger warning. This is an unedited true crime podcast, and we are explicit. Many episodes contain mentions of child abuse, murder, sexual abuse, domestic violence, severe neglect, animal abuse, necrophilia, bestiality, incest, suicides, and other sensitive topics. If you're squeamish, why the fuck are you here? Now, without further ado, this is the episode of
I feel this episode requires a second trigger warning. In this episode, we discuss the severe torture and sexual abuse of children as young as 18 months. I highly recommend finding a comfort item and snuggling up.
I don't have a blanket.
Would you like me to get you a blanket?
No, I'll just raw dog it, man.
Oh, there's some right up on the couch here.
It's fine.
There isn't much known about Peter Scully's early childhood, and honestly, I could not care less. What we do know is that he was hatched on January 13th, 1963 in Melbourne, Australia.
She said hatched. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I refuse to share the same species as a fuck up like this.
Alright.
He does claim that he was sexually abused by a Catholic priest when he was young. But again, he's very tight-lipped about where he came from. By his early 40s, Scully dipped his toes into crime with real estate scams. In 2009, an investigation by the Australian Securities and Investments Commission would find that Scully was involved in 117 cases of real estate schemes. He had defrauded investors of approximately $2.68 million. With the heat at his back, he would abandon his wife and two children 2 years later. And honestly, good riddance. He moved to Melbourne proper, where he would run an unlicensed escort service featuring his teen Malaysian girlfriend. You know, sharing is caring.
Yes.
He really wasted no time accelerating his crime spree, from con to pimp in a matter of 2 years. Crazy. As always, his most heinous offense was that of previous tax evasion. The fuzz was closing in on him for the fraud, causing him to flee to the Philippines in order to evade prosecution. Scully would move to, maybe Mindanao Island and build his evil empire. Once he was settled, the jackass would establish a video production company called No Limits Fun. As you can see, this wasn't your run-of-the-mill pornography. Scully would stalk the Cagayan de Oro neighborhoods, offering food, shelter, and education to the impoverished families.
You
The
didn't
price?
specify.
The children.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like the terms of the contract were straightforward. Of course not. Scully is a devil manipulating those in need. He wasn't the only one offering social services to the families. Real nonprofits like the Red Cross and church missionaries, thank you, that were offering aid, and Scully would go around masquerading as another good-hearted foreigner serving miracles with no strings attached. Except he was a fucking puppet master. Not only did he guise himself in sheep's clothing, but he procured accomplices. 2 young women, victims themselves, of course, who would help him prey upon the vulnerable. The 3 of them would lure street kids with promises of treats and trinkets, holding them hostage in different rental properties that Scully owned. Once they had the kids under their care, they would take them back to Scully's lair, where they would film the rape and torture of the children and sell it on the dark web. The business model for No Limits Fund was pay-per-view, and these videos could sell up to $10,000. He was renowned in the depths for his extreme content. All of his followers applauded this depravity. And though he was a pervert himself, it was the money and prestige that was his true motivation. Yeah, all for some fucking paper.
Good.
In these live-streamed red rooms, masked individuals who were later identified as Scully, his girlfriend Carmen Ann Alvarez, and Lizelle Margallo would record themselves using adult sex toys and other foreign objects on bound children. In later interviews, Scully would deny participation, stating that he was simply a passive bystander as the women committed the atrocities. Likely story. Featured in some of his more popular videos was the torture of Queenie, 9, and Rosie, 12, 2 cousins who were raped, chained, collared, and tortured by Margallo, Alvarez, and Scully. They forced the girls to perform sex acts on each other while they watched and filmed. And this wasn't enough for these evil fucks. They took the girls to an isolated area and forced them to dig their own graves, on camera, while being repeatedly raped, and they were made to lay in their makeshift graves. After Scully satisfied his vicious desires, he took everyone home, tied the girls up, and tied the girls up for the night. Guilt must have stabbed at Alvarez as she had stabbed at the children, because she would set them free while Scully slept. They fled home to their families, where they exposed the crime to the authorities. There were 45 witnesses in the Queenie and Rose case. There was no smooth talking his way out of that one.
Oof.
Rosie was quoted as saying, "I hope I forget it when I grow up."
Me too, girl. Me too.
Though they survived hell, they are not free. I wish them peace, but an investigation was launched into Scully with his accomplices. 6 warrants would be issued for Scully, and during this time they would uncover one of the most horrific videos I have ever heard of. The detectives that had to view this had lasting trauma decades later, some even completing suicide. I feel that they're victims too in all of this, because that's
did not seem voluntary.
I mean, it is. They sign up for the job knowing that, but it's also that hope of, I really hope I don't ever have to. At first, this film was largely regarded as an urban legend due to the sheer absurdity of the depravity involved. Though the FBI and other agencies were aware of the whispered rumors of children, one being just a toddler that were being brutally maimed, they were too unfathomable. They were too unbelievable to be fact. Unfortunately, this nightmare was all too real for Cindy, who was only 11, Liza, who was just 12, and Daisy, who was just 18 months. These girls were subjected to rape with various objects, water submersion, hot wax drippings, forced to eat feces, and dig their own graves. This was Scully's best-selling production and his highest paid per view at $10,000. He titled it Daisy's Destruction. The Dutch National Child Exploitation Team was the first to open a case on Scully, though they did not know it at the time. They had another sicko under their watch known as Lux. He was the proprietor of Hurt to the Core forum on the dark web /4chan. This 18-year-old shit for brains was impressed by Scully's evil acts, boosting its popularity in the hidden filthy corners of the internet. It got the attention of the Dutch because one of the demons on the film seemed to have been speaking Dutch. It was later determined that he just had a thick Australian accent. Nonetheless, the Dutch kept an investigation open and worked with the Filipino authorities without prejudice. Scully was apprehended in a raid held in February 2015. The police found children being held in makeshift prisons on several of his properties. They seized vast amounts of digital data as well as physical media as evidence of his crimes. This would later be mysteriously lost in a fire that randomly broke out in the evidence room.
Huh.
Do you smell a bribe to a dirty cop?
Something, because
So convenient.
so convenient. It just happened to be, in the exact location it needed to be.
Just during this really huge investigation, just right now.
Yeah.
One of the lost videos obtained would be the last moments of Cindy. Scully recorded himself raping the 12-year-old before making her dig her own grave and strangling her to death. It was found that her remains were hastily buried beneath the floorboards of one of Scully's original home bases. They exhumed her remains and brought that shithead to trial. The prosecution charged him with 75 counts of human trafficking, rape, and murder. The dipshit pled not guilty, forcing 10 of his victims to stand trial and recount the hell he put them through.
What an ass.
It's the
What
power
a
and
fucking
control.
ass.
He wants the big trial. If he pled guilty, it would just, all right.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the head. I mean, what? As always, seeking power and pleasure in the suffering of others, he was a weak son of a bitch. All of them. To find power in hurting someone smaller, weak, or vulnerable. As if someone their own size or larger wouldn't be more of an accomplishment. I never got that. It's easy to overpower something that's 10 pounds. Speaking of idiotic slime, not only was Scully, Alvarez, and Margallo involved, but so were German national Christian Rausch, Filipino national Alexander Lau, and Filipino national Ophelia Chia, and Brazilian national Zillian Alvera. They were all administrators for No Limits Fund. While Scully sat in prison, Margallo was on the run, masquerading as the wife of French millionaire Shannon Carpio. It is alleged that Scully was conducting his business from jail with phone calls to Margallo until she was eventually brought in on her outstanding warrants. Due to her cooperation with authorities, she was not incarcerated.
Oh,
I don't know how you feel about that, but I have
terrible.
an opinion.
Wrong.
Yeah. Thanks for your cooperation, but even with much of the evidence lost, there was still enough to convict Scully of his crimes and sentence him to life in prison. Only life, though, as a moratorium was put on the death penalty in 2006. Prosecution did consider asking for a quick reinstatement just for Scully. Alvarez was also sentenced to life in prison. Scully's sister advocates for him to have better conditions as his cell is cold and the food is terrible.
He should have no food and
Freeze to death. Well, sister, considering the shit he's done, he's lucky he's not strung up over an anthill by his gonads covered in honey. Take the win, Sheila, and shut the fuck up.
God damn, is that too hard to ask? Fuck.
Graham, that young dipshit from earlier, Lux, he was also sentenced to a mere 15 years for his encouragement of hurtcore. No justice. This shit for brains was found to have enthusiastically encouraged the murder of a Russian teen girl and the torture of a paralyzed mute child, and for parents to record themselves hurting their children and sending him the videos for his enjoyment and profit. Only 15 years. He gets out in 2009. That is 4 years.
2029. 2029.
4 years, y'all. He won't even be 40. So it's not like he's going to get out and be feeble and weak and die soon. Whatever. We told you that Cindy was murdered. Liza and Daisy were said to have been found alive, though extremely wounded. They both suffered lasting damage, and it's reported that Daisy will be unable to bear children. So many things stolen by this mockery of a man. Another mockery of a man is Josh Duggar, who is purported to have tried to obtain Daisy's destruction.
Josh Duggar?
Duggar? Oh, is that how it's pronounced?
Josh Duggar? From the Duggar family?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
No. In his 60 Minutes interview, Scully was a smug fuck who could only answer he didn't know why he did the things he did, he just did them. He evaded most questions by saying he might write a journal. Forget it, Scully. We are not interested. Whatever your origin story is, it is of no interest.
I don't know.
No. We don't. Tara Brown, she was the journalist interviewing him. She was escorted through one of Scully's houses, relaying that it was awful. During this interview, they were exhuming the remains of Sydney. And unfortunately, during this 60 Minutes, one of Scully's victims was interviewed, having been asked to recount her experience.
That's fucking disgusting, honestly.
That's terrible. Like,
hey, sit down. We're going to pay you. And please, in detail, as much as possible, explain everything that man did to you. Don't cry because I'm going to kind of edit that out. But if you could just explain the horrors to us in detail, that'd be great.
I don't even know if they paid her.
Wow.
They could have left her out of it. I don't know.
In detail.
In detail. My heart goes out to all the heroes that helped in this hunt for a beast of the worst kind. And much to our dismay, this is only one head of a fearsome hydra. When you cut off one head, two emerge in its place.
Oh, new idea. Cutting off. Just saying.
Could live with that.
I feel like he's used it enough for evil.
Where's Cujo? He needs a snack. The depths of the void hold more evil than we can prepare for. Stay tuned for more bitter tea served hot here in the mausoleum.
You'll have to edit anything else that
is calling for the death of a person.
Harm on a person.
Yeah, gallows and all of that, but that's fine.
I don't want to get sued.
Fuck him.
I don't want to get sued.
Hey, you're lucky.
Anything we said here is our own personal opinion. We have no desire to execute any of these ideas, but you could use them if you wanted to.
Listen,
but there are
a podcast from two Midwest motherfuckers. All right,
don't sue us. Don't sue us. Don't sue us.
Don't take it seriously. But also, I'll pull the lever, Kronk.
And that, my pretties, is all we have for you today. If you liked that episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Word of mouth is the best advertising, and we truly appreciate the solid. If you'd like to view our resources or leave us any comments on our research and write-ups, visit don'tyouknowpod.com and visit our socials. From Facebook to Mastodon, everything is at Don't You Know Pod. Links in the show notes. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to lock your doors.